True strength is not loud. It does not rush into the room demanding to be seen. It does not shout to prove its worth. It moves quietly, like water finding its way to the ocean. It stands firmly, like a mountain that has watched 1,000 seasons pass. In a world that rewards noise, the woman who walks in stillness becomes unforgettable. Not because she begs for attention, but because her presence speaks before she does. Today, I want to take you on a path that few choose to walk, yet one that every high-value woman knows by heart, the path of inner mastery, the path where grace, calm, and quiet strength are not occasional moods, but daily habits. In these next moments, I will share 7 habits, 7 ways of living that turn ordinary days into a training ground for extraordinary presence. This is not theory. It is not performance. It is the Shaolin way discipline that shapes not only the body, but the heart, the mind, and the way others feel when they are with you. Let us begin. In the Shaolin tradition, value is not something you announce. It is something you embody. I remember a young student once asked me, "Master, how can I make others respect me?" He believed that respect was like a badge. You could wear that if you spoke loudly enough, dressed boldly enough, or demanded enough. People would listen, but in the temple, we see it differently. Respect is like the shadow your body casts. It follows you naturally when you walk in alignment with your principles. You do not need to chase it. And if you try to step outside of integrity, the shadow disappears, no matter how bright the sun. For a woman, the same truth applies. The high-value woman is not a title you claim in your social media bio. It is a presence, a way you carry yourself in the market, in a meeting, in your home. It is the way you treat the waiter who brings your tea, and the way you hold yourself when someone disrespects you. Shaolin training teaches that the outer world is a mirror of the inner world. If your mind is scattered, your actions will be scattered. If your heart is restless, your relationships will reflect that restlessness. And if you carry peace within you, people will feel it before you even speak. I want you to imagine a simple image. 2 women walk into a room. One is dressed beautifully, but her eyes dart around the space. Seeking approval, her energy asks silently, "Do you like me? Do you notice me?" The other wears simple clothes, but her steps are unhurried. Her eyes are steady. She does not seek the room's attention. Yet heads turn. Why? Because one is chasing value, the other is value. This is the Shaolin view. True value is cultivated in silence, in small, daily choices, in the discipline no one else sees. Like a bamboo shoot growing underground. You may not see much in the early days, but the roots are spreading deep and unshakable. When the growth finally appears above the surface, it is already strong enough to weather storms. Over the next 7 habits, I will guide you through this process. Some habits will quiet your mind. Some will guard your heart. Some will teach you how to move in the world with grace that commands respect without a word. You will not need to convince others of your worth. You will become the kind of woman whose presence speaks for itself. In Shaolin life, the mind is like the surface of a lake. When the wind stirs it into ripples, it cannot reflect the moon. When the surface is still, The moon's image is clear. A quiet mind does not mean an empty mind. It means a mind that moves with purpose, like a river flowing toward the sea, steady, intentional, unhurried. I want you to picture two moments. In the first, your partner comes home distant. The restless mind leaps to conclusions. They're upset with me. They've lost interest. Anxiety rises. Words rush out before you can measure them. The result, distance grows. In the second, you notice the same mood, but you breathe. You feel your feet on the floor. You let the pause exist. When you speak, you simply ask, is something on your mind? Now, instead of reacting to a story you've created, you respond to the truth. Walking with a quiet mind is a practice. You train it in small, ordinary moments. Waiting in a long line without reaching for your phone. Sitting in traffic and feeling your breath instead of your frustration. Listening fully before you decide how to answer. Over time, stillness becomes your natural state. People feel it around you. They may not know why they feel safe in your presence, but they do. There is a story of a craftsman who carved wooden bowls so beautiful that people traveled far to buy them. When asked his secret, he said, "Before I touch the wood, I wait until I am as still as the forest. If my mind is restless, the blade will fight the grain, but when I am quiet, the bowl already exists in the tree. I only remove what is not needed." Your relationships are the same. When your mind is restless, you cut into the connection, saying what you don't mean, hearing what was never said. When your mind is quiet, you see the natural shape of the bond, and you remove only what does not belong, misunderstandings, assumptions, unkind words. This habit will not grow overnight, but with each pause, each deep breath, each moment of choosing awareness over impulse, you plant seeds. And soon, the lake inside you will be still enough to reflect the truth in everything around you. Every person carries an invisible atmosphere, just like the weather that surrounds the earth. Some days it is clear and bright, inviting others to relax in your presence. Other days it is heavy, full of storms you didn't notice forming inside you. As a Shaolin practitioner, I see the heart as a garden. The seeds you plant will decide what grows. If you allow fear, resentment, or suspicion to take root, thorny vines will spread quickly, choking joy, blocking trust. If you nurture patience, gratitude, and compassion, the garden will flourish, offering shade and nourishment to all who enter. The high-value woman knows she is the keeper of this garden. She cannot stop every storm from blowing in, but she decides how to prepare, how to respond, and how to protect what is precious inside. Consider this in every interaction. There is an exchange of energy. Words matter, but the emotional tone beneath them matters more. People may forget the exact sentences you spoke, but they will remember how they felt in your company. Let's take a simple example. Your partner forgets an important date. An unguarded climate reacts instantly. Sharp words, accusations, withdrawal of affection. The argument grows not because of the event itself, but because of the storm released in that moment. A guarded climate feels the disappointment, pauses, and responds, "I felt hurt when you forgot. Can we talk about it?" The same truth is shared, but without poisoning the soil of the relationship. Guarding your emotional climate also means choosing your environments wisely. If you stand too long in places filled with gossip, constant complaint, or drama, your own weather will start to match. Like a garden left unattended in a season of weeds, your inner state will be overrun. Unless you set boundaries, boundaries are not rejection, they are preservation. You cannot stop the rain, but you can decide whether to stand in it or seek shelter. This discipline grows in daily moments. When someone cuts you off in traffic, choose not to let that moment own the rest of your day. When a friend delays a reply, give them the benefit of the doubt instead of building a story of neglect. There is a saying, you cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Guarding your emotional climate is learning to ride life's waves without letting them drown you. When you protect this inner atmosphere, others feel it. They sense they can bring you truth without fear of sudden storms. And slowly, they begin to approach you with more care, more respect, because you have shown them that your peace is not for sale. In the Shaolin way, energy is like a river. At its source, high in the mountains, the water is clear, pure, full of life, but as it flows, branches, leaves, and even pollution can enter. The current remains, but its quality changes. Your personal energy is the same. Each morning, you begin fresh, but throughout the day, every conversation, every place you enter, every thought you entertain, these are streams flowing into your river. Some leave you lighter, inspired, and clear. Others leave you heavy, unsettled, and distracted. A high-value woman understands her energy is her most valuable resource. She does not give it away without thought, and she does not allow it to be clouded by what does not serve her growth. Consider a simple truth: healthy relationships, even when challenging, leave you stronger. Unhealthy ones repeatedly drain you, make you doubt yourself, or pull you off your path. The difference is not whether difficulty exists, but whether the flow nourishes you or erodes you. There is a story of a young woman tending an orchard. One season, the fruit was not as sweet as before. She discovered that the stream feeding her trees had been mixed with runoff from the road. The water still flowed, but it carried unseen impurities. She began filtering the water, and over time, the sweetness returned. Your life works the same way. If your attention is constantly carrying in gossip, resentment, or fear from outside sources, the fruit of your life, your joy, and your peace, your ability to love will lose its sweetness. To keep your energy flow clean, practice awareness. After an interaction, ask, do I feel lighter or heavier? Limit time in environments that always leave you tense. Direct your attention intentionally. Just because someone demands it does not mean they have earned it. In intimate relationships, clean energy is essential. If one person constantly takes without giving, imbalance grows. It may be subtle, constant need for reassurance without offering it, or unloading stress without ever asking about the other's day. Over time, these patterns cloud the water between you. Sometimes keeping the flow clean means letting go, not to excuse the past, but to stop carrying its weight into the present. A river cannot stay clear if you keep throwing old stones into it. When you learn to guard what flows into you and what flows out, you will find that your presence itself becomes refreshing to others. They may not know why, but they will want to return to the river that leaves them clear. In Shaolin calligraphy, a master may spend hours preparing for a single stroke. The brush is simple. The ink is simple. But if the space between the mind and the paper is not clear, the stroke will not carry life. Your words are the same. They are not only shaped by the meaning you choose, but also by the state of mind you hold when you speak them. Noise is easy. It is hurried words, half-formed thoughts, sentences spoken to fill silence rather than to create understanding. Clarity is harder. It is the discipline of removing what does not serve the message. So what remains is clean and strong. In relationships, unclear communication is one of the most common causes of pain. It is not always what is said that wounds, but how and when it is said, and whether the intention is understood. Consider this: you always ignore me. This is a stone thrown between you and the other person. It is accusatory. It shuts the door. I feel unheard when this happens. This opens the door. It invites dialogue instead of defensiveness. The high-value woman knows when to speak. And she knows when silence has more strength than words. She understands that timing and tone are as important as the content. Sometimes, in the heat of emotion, silence is an act of preservation, not avoidance. Practice this clarity in small ways. When a conversation becomes tense, pause before answering. Ask yourself, what is the clearest way to say what I mean? Without unnecessary edges, choose words that build a bridge, not a wall. Also, listen with the intention to understand, not to reply. Most people hear only enough to prepare their own answer. When you listen fully, your reply carries more weight because it is shaped by the truth you actually received. Remember, words are threads. When woven with care, they create a fabric strong enough to hold trust. Thrown carelessly, they tangle into knots that are hard to undo. Speak with clarity, not noise, and your words will become like clear water in the desert, rare, refreshing, and remembered long after they are spoken. In the mountains, after a summer storm, you will see a truth of nature. Many tall trees lie broken on the ground, their strength betrayed by their own rigidity, but the bamboo still stands swaying, bending, yet unbroken. Grace under pressure is like the bamboo's strength. It is not the absence of force, but the ability to yield without losing your center. In the Shaolin way, this is called soft strength, the capacity to flow with the wind while staying rooted in the earth. Life will test you. In relationships, at work, in moments when words cut or plans collapse, you will feel the pull to react, to defend, to attack, to match force with force. But the high-value woman pauses. She breathes before she answers. She understands that the first wave of reaction is rarely the one that brings peace or resolution. Consider a heated conversation with a loved one. Most people respond as if they are in battle, raising voices, defending ground. But when you stand in grace, you see the moment differently. It is not a battle to win, but a dance to navigate. You let silence carry meaning. You let your breath slow the heat in your blood. Then you choose words that steady, not escalate. This is not weakness. It is the discipline to keep your emotional footing when the ground shakes. It is knowing that storms pass faster when you are not feeding them. Train this habit in small pressures, a missed deadline, a rude comment from a stranger, a sudden change of plans. Soften your body instead of tensing. Relax your shoulders. Keep your breath deep and steady. Your body teaches your mind that you are safe, even here, even now. When others see you meet pressure without breaking, they begin to trust you more. They know you will not add to the chaos. You become the calm harbor in their storm. Grace under pressure does not demand the world be perfect. It builds a reservoir of peace so deep that no wave can empty it. And from this place, you can meet conflict with presence, not panic bending like bamboo, always returning upright when the winds pass. In Shaolin training, every movement has intention. The punch is not thrown to fill the air, it has a target. The step is not taken to pass time, it takes you closer to where you need to be. Purpose is the compass of your life. Without it, you move endlessly, but go nowhere. With it, every choice, every habit, every relationship becomes part of a larger design. For the high-value woman, purpose is not a vague dream. It is a clear thread running through her days. It is the quiet why behind her. What? I want you to imagine two archers. One pulls the bow and fires arrows in every direction, hoping one will land somewhere meaningful. The other chooses her target before she even lifts the bow. Every movement, the draw, the breath, the release is aligned with that single aim. When you live without purpose, your energy scatters. You say yes to obligations that drain you. You stay in relationships that pull you off your path. You fill your days with tasks that keep you busy, but not fulfilled. When you live with purpose, your yes carries weight and your no becomes an act of protection. You choose where to invest your time, who to let into your space, what to give your attention to. Every decision is measured against the question, does this serve the life I am building? This doesn't mean your life becomes rigid. Purpose is not a cage, it is a path. On this path, there is still room for rest, for joy, for the unexpected. But even your moments of rest are chosen with care because you know they replenish you for what matters most. Begin this habit with reflection. What values do you refuse to compromise? What kind of woman do you want to be remembered as? What legacy, however small or large, do you wish to leave? Write these answers down. They are your map. Then, each week, look at your actions. Do they match your map? If not, adjust not with guilt, but with intention. The Shaolin way teaches that when your inner purpose is strong, outer distractions lose their power over you. You are no longer pulled into every passing demand, every noise from the world. You move like the river, sometimes swift, sometimes calm, but always toward the sea you have chosen. Living with purpose transforms not only your direction, but the way others see you. They sense your clarity, they respect your boundaries, and they are drawn to walk beside you, knowing you are going somewhere worth following. In a garden, different plants grow side by side, tall trees, small flowers, climbing vines. Each needs its own space, light and water to flourish. If one plant spreads without awareness, it can overshadow the rest, weakening the whole. Your relationships work the same way. Harmony is not about everyone being the same or always agreeing. It is about creating balance where each person has room to grow, where differences are respected, and where the connection nourishes rather than drains. A high-value woman understands that the quality of her relationships shapes the quality of her life. She chooses to surround herself with people who uplift, inspire, and challenge her in healthy ways. She also knows when to set boundaries with those who repeatedly bring chaos, negativity, or imbalance. There is a story of a gardener who noticed one vine growing aggressively, covering the nearby flowers and blocking the sunlight. Instead of cutting it down entirely, she pruned it carefully, guiding its growth along a trellis. The vine still thrived, but so did the flowers beneath it. This is how harmony is cultivated, not through destruction, but through gentle correction. In practice, this means having honest conversations before resentment builds, addressing imbalance early, before it overshadows the relationship, knowing when to release a connection that consistently harms more than it heals. Harmony also requires humility. It means admitting when you are wrong, forgiving when you are hurt, and letting go of the need to win every disagreement. These acts do not show weakness, they demonstrate maturity and emotional strength. To begin cultivating harmony, reflect on your current connections. Which relationships leave you lighter and more inspired? Which leave you drained, doubtful, or diminished? How do you contribute to the climate of each relationship? Sometimes the most difficult, yet most loving act is to step back from a connection that cannot be balanced, not out of anger, but to protect the health of the whole garden. Remember, harmony outside begins with harmony within. If your inner world is chaotic, it will spill into your relationships. When you are at peace inside, you naturally create an environment where respect, trust, and support can grow. When you live this way, your relationships become a source of strength. They anchor you in difficult times and magnify your joy in peaceful ones. You create a circle where love is not scarce, but abundant, and that abundance flows back to you in ways words cannot measure. 7 habits, 7 daily disciplines that shape not just how the world sees you, but how you see yourself. Walk with a quiet mind so you can hear truth without distortion. Guard your emotional climate so storms cannot take root inside you. Keep your energy flow clean so what you give is pure and strong. Speak with clarity so your words build trust, not walls. Stand in grace under pressure so no wind can uproot you. Live with purpose so every step carries you toward the life you choose. And cultivate harmonious ties so your connections nourish rather than drain. The high-value woman does not chase attention. She becomes the kind of presence that commands it naturally. Her worth is not up for debate because it is rooted, lived, and felt. This is the Shaolin way mastery from the inside out. It is not quick. It is not always easy. But with patience, these habits become who you are. Do not seek to be remembered for noise. Be remembered for the peace, the strength, and the quiet power you carry wherever you go,